Hi, welcome to episode 228 of The Corner of Knit and Tea. My name is Laura. I'm also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop where I sell my handspun yarns called The Corner of Knit and Tea, and we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. Hi, how are you? I hope that you are doing well. This is Monday, April 29th. It is late in the day because I had a busy work day, and I hope that you are doing well and are ready to talk about crafting. I think this episode is going to be a little bit more about what I would like to be crafting and what I'm going to be casting on in the next couple days now that May is almost here. I have been doing quite a bit of crafting, but I'm not entirely allowed to show you. So that's part of it. And you've seen a lot of the same things over and over and over again. So, I hope you are doing well. We had a really nice weekend. It was absolutely lovely here on Saturday. It was like 78 and sunny and beautiful, and then the temperature dropped and it was 40 degrees on Sunday. Luckily, we did not get snow. Our neighbors in Chicago did. And so it is springtime in the Midwest today. It is back up to the 60s and kind of windy, and it's supposed to rain all week. So we did not get out and enjoy the weather too much, although I did go for a little bit of exercise on the Saturday. Mostly I stuck around the house and did lots of knitting and some chores, and like I said, I'm working ahead because I am going to Chicago this coming weekend for my birthday to see my family, and the Chicago Pen Show is going on as well, so I'll be there some too. I will be working a little bit while I'm away, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm just making the push in the next couple days to get everything done that I can. So that's kind of what's going on here. Let's get into the podcast. Today I am drinking from David's Tea Organic Sweet Almond Green. A friend of mine got either a sampler pack or possibly something for the holidays. It's actually been sitting for a few months, probably more than I know, but it came in this really cute little tin, and then on the back you can see it says David's Tea, and it's got the sweet almond green. I hope that doesn't show up backwards. I can never figure out text on these things. Anyway, so that is what I am drinking today, and I am drinking it in my Knitting Circle mug, which is by Scottish potter Anna Wright, and it's really cute. It's all the sheep in all kinds of different Fair Isle knitting patterns. So just a fun cup of tea for the afternoon. Ooh, that tastes pretty good. It's more on the green than it is on the almond. In fact, I don't taste a lot of almond, but it is kind of a sweet green. So that is the tea for today. Let's go on to the knits. So I did not get to show you before I sent it off that I finished the sample for Zen Yarn Garden. Here is the Comfort Fade Cardi. I know it's a little bit hard to see. The pictures are on my Instagram. It is the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry, who is Dorea Renee Knits. It was knit in Zen Yarn Garden DK. I did the extra large size. For the most part, I followed the pattern, except I did have to make a few modifications based on the fact that I was a little bit short on yarn. And this is what the finished product looked like. So I had a white, a silver, a kind of red and silver multi, and a black. Anyway, I finished that last week. I shipped that off last Thursday, and I believe she already has the sample. So you can take a look at Zen Yarn Garden's feed soon. I'm sure she'll take beautiful pictures, better than I could, and she'll be talking about that. My guess is she'll probably end up offering some kits, but I don't know for sure. So don't take anything I say at my word, other than it was lovely to knit, and I am happy that it has gone back. I am also finishing a sample knit for someone else, and that one is almost done. I think I'm going to be done with most of the knitting tonight, in which case then it is just blocking and making up. I could not be happier because I am ready to work on a few things and start a bunch of things. So that is my progress as far as that goes. I do have one other small finish this week. I don't know why I started it, especially when I had other things to be doing. I guess probably because I was going to be, we did a bunch of driving around, and we took some stuff to Goodwill yesterday, and took some stuff to a friend of ours, and so we were in the car a lot, and so I brought something with me so that I could work on it in the car, because everything I'm working on right now requires patterns. And so, actually, no, that wasn't it. I take it back. We went to see a movie. Not this weekend. What did I do? I'm very confused now. I needed a roundy project, and I cannot remember why I specifically started it, but I needed it and I finished it this week. So this is the Violet Waffles hat by Haldora J. I have knit it before. It is a very simple pattern. You use worsted weight and you do some ribbing at the bottom, and then you knit the waffle pattern, and then you decrease, and I of course added a pom-pom at the top. This is the leftovers of my Miss Babs Yowza in the Deep Sea Jellyfish colorway. I used it to knit my Sizzle Pop. Along with a gray, but this is a hat for Roxy, and one of her winter hats that I will give her this fall, and it is done. It was the perfect instant gratification project that I needed in the middle of all the other things that I am working on, and it knit up super quick. I love this yarn. It's just so much fun. It's pink and orange and purple and white, and I hope that she loves it. So that is that one. One small finish, which made me feel really good. I mean, technically I knit 2 adult sweaters this month, or will have by the time the month is over, but it's just, it's been slow going, and I feel like I haven't seen a ton of progress, so really nice to have a little something quick off the needles. In the car yesterday, what I actually did was work on this sock. Like I said last time, I had just finished the heel turn, so I finished the gusset decreases, and I'm moving steadily towards the toe. This project is going with me to Chicago. It is the first thing and the only thing I will allow myself to work on until it is done. So you will see this project one more time. These are the Pebbles and Pathway socks by Marceline Smith, who also goes by Hey Brownberry. And the green yarn is yarn that I had in my stash. Feels like wool. Don't think there's any superwash merino or nylon in there. And the brown is a small mini that I got to go with a merino cashmere nylon skein, and I didn't end up using the mini in contrast, so I went ahead and used it on this, and I am super pleased with how these are coming out, and I'm ready for them to be done. I just have not picked them up very much. I know what it was. We did go to the movies. That's when I started that hat, because I have to keep track of the cabling rounds on this sock, and so this sock is not a good movie project. So yeah, that's it. So I hope to finish these this week. I will finish these this week, and you will see them one more time when they are done, and then we will stop talking about them. They are a lovely pattern. I'm enjoying knitting them. It's just taken me forever because I keep putting them aside for other things. So those are the projects that I have been working on. The other one that I brought back to show you, just because it's been a little while, is for the knit along. If you follow along with my podcast, you know that, and I brought the wrong one. Never mind. I brought the wrong sweater. I'll show you this one anyway, because I hope to pick this back up this summer. This is the Pismo Beach pullover that I have been working on. It's hard to see, but there is kind of a lacy pattern in there. I am actually probably going to rip this because I've made a whole bunch of mistakes, but I probably will go ahead and pick it back up and do it again. Or what I'll probably do is rip it back to the ribbing and then just start again on the lace pattern. I did not give this the attention it deserved. I would love to have this. Like I said, I was knitting the Pismo Beach pullover, and oh, I even have the pattern in here. Do I have who it's by? It's by Amanda Schuesger. And I was knitting it in the Katia Air Looks, which I got from Webs. It is kind of a metallic looking, it's a teal with black, and it is extra fine merino and viscose. So I'm hoping to work on that. What I really meant to bring to show you was my boxy. Let's start this again, although this would be a good candidate for that as well. If you follow along, we are doing a spring garment knit along with the Northern Knits podcast, who are Jocelyn and Diana. And they are actually getting ready to take a short podcast break. Diana is going on her honeymoon, and Jocelyn is just taking a couple weeks off because Diana will be gone as well. So they are a crazy, not crazy, I shouldn't say that, that's mean. They are a fun duo of crafters in Canada, and we are joining together for the Spring Garment Make-Along. Basically, you can make any garment that is an adult-sized garment, but any spring garment, so anything from a sweater to like a shell, skirt, dress, what else? Shawl. You can knit, you can crochet, you can sew. If you want to weave your own fabric and make your garment, that is fine too. And basically the theme is just something that you want to add to your spring garment collection. And Jocelyn loves cotton, so she's encouraging everyone to use cotton, but you do not have to. Also, if you live in a part of the world where it is not spring, because you are in the opposite hemisphere from where we are, you are also welcome to craft for your oncoming fall, and we will still enter it as part of this craft along. So we have chatter threads in both of our groups, and you are welcome, more than welcome to join in. We started on the, let me think about this, the spring equinox, which was March 20th, and we are running till the summer solstice, which is June 21st, and we would love to have you join us. There will be prize draws. We haven't decided if we're going to do one big group of participants or a couple participants from my group and a couple participants from their group. We do have prizes, so if you are making for spring, please come and join us. So I want to finish my boxy top. That is Boxy by Joji Locatelli. I have showed it to you before, and I will find it because I need to start working on it again. I'm actually thinking about taking it with me this weekend to Chicago, so I can work on it on the way there and back. However, I also have some new projects that I would like to cast on. So I showed you several weeks ago, because I got it and was excited about it, and I needed stuff to show you, these two skeins of yarn. They are from A Good Yarn, Sarasota, Florida, and they are her new Boca Chica base, which is, let's see, 100% superwash merino. It almost looks like a chainette construction, which is sort of interesting. As opposed to a ply, it almost looks like a chain. It is 480 yards to 115 grams, 4 ounces, and it is a fingering weight. So I got these two lovely skeins. I don't know that they have colorways. They don't say on here. Well, I take it back. One is called Duval Street. This is called Duval Street, and this is called Rainbow Reef. So I take it back. They do have colors, and it looks like they retail for $28 a skein. So I have been going back and forth on if I want to do a shawl or a sweater, and bad podcaster, I didn't navigate to where I want to be. I kind of thought about, because it's got 480 yards per skein, because it's kind of a thin fingering weight and there's a lot of yardage, I kind of thought about what I wanted to make, also because these are crazy bright colors and I don't really know what to do with them. So what I really thought I might look at is doing some kind of a top for me. And I think the top that I am going to do, I think the one I have decided on, is called Elfie, and it's by Astrid Schramm. And it is a little top shell that uses striping in various forms. Like, you start out with a heavier concentration of the dark on top, and then a heavier concentration of the light on the bottom. And I have actually seen it she has a couple people who do it in variegated colors. Let me see if I can find one that looks nice. So there's this one that has the variegated kind of in the dark section. So you can see that one is variegated. And then there's another one that has it in the light section, which is, let me see. Hold on just a moment. Like I said, I should have probably done this before, but I did want to show you. The other one, is so this one is, this looks like it's probably Woolmize, which is why it's flashing and pooling quite the way it is, but I really like this one as well. So I think I am going to wind up these balls of yarn and I am going to do Elfie, and it comes in a variety of sizes. And it's got a small, medium, large, and extra large, and so I have enough yardage to do the medium, so I think that's what I'm going to do. So I am going to wind these up this evening now that I've shown them to you and now that I've taken pictures of them, and I will cast on for that. And actually maybe this one will come with me because this one is due for a review this month. I think I'll submit this also to the Spring Garment Make Along because these are bright, crazy colors, and it is a little, it's almost a sleeveless top. It looks like it's done with the contiguous method, but it looks like the sleeves only go down to like just kind of cap sleeves covering your shoulder. So this should be fun, and I would like to start it. I'm kind of eager to try out this yarn, and I have a feeling it's going to be crazy bright rainbowy and kind of crazy looking, and I kind of don't care. It's just going to be a fun summer top. So that's that one. Since I did a hat for Roxy this week, I decided to check the stash and see what I have and maybe work on a hat for Miles. And I found a skein that I had actually ordered for him. I don't know what exactly this is. I preface that by saying I know that it is Squoosh, and I know that it came from, she destashed a bunch of skeins on Instagram a while ago. She had a bunch of one-offs that either were one-offs that were left over from something, or maybe one-offs that she had done test dyes on. And I believe this was her American wool. I think it feels like superwash, but it feels a little bit crunchy. So I know those two things don't usually go together. It just occurred to me that maybe this is not superwash, but I think it is because I think I looked at it and said, oh, there were two skeins, and I got another one, and I think I looked at them and said, oh, hats for Roxy and Miles, perfect. So I believe this is about 200 yards from Squoosh, and it is in this cool colorway that has like browns, and then it has teals and a little bit of purple in it, and I just think it will make a really nice hat for Miles. And actually I'm considering just doing the Violet Waffles hat again. He already has one of those. I did one last year, but it is a great easy pattern, and I just feel like this would be a quick knit and kind of nice for him. And I love the teals in this. This just the browns and the teals, and then like I said, there's just a couple hints of purple, and there's some green and stuff in here. God, her colors are just gorgeous. Like this right here, which is blue and it goes into green, it just kills me. Anyway, so I pulled this skein out and we'll wind this up, and this will be a hat for Miles in the coming weeks. Finally, I pulled out the pattern that I have been dying to cast on and keep putting off because of other obligation knits. And I still have some obligation knits this month, but this is the month. And I am talking about the Night Shift. Night Shift is a shawl by Drea Renee Knits. She is Andrea Mowry. Actually, I talked about her at the beginning because I knit her Comfort Fade Cardi. But beyond her fades, one of her new things is that she's done quite a few designs with slip stitch knitting and the interplay of different colors. And for her Night Shift, she used Spin Cycle yarns, which they are, I don't want to say they're commercially produced. They are not, I don't believe they are hand spun. I believe they are mill spun, but what they do is they put all different colors together. And so the effect is that it comes out very barber pole-y, and it looks very much like hand spun. So I decided to raid my hand spun stash and pull out a bunch of skeins that I wanted to use and put them all together. And I showed these to you back last October or November when I excitedly gathered them. And now I am ready. I am going to wind these up. Probably tonight is going to be a big winding party, and then I'm just going to cast on to my Heart's Abandon for May. So this is a skein called Magic Quilt, and it is bright blues and greens and purples. And then this is, I believe, called Urchin, and it was a skein from Hello Yarn, and it is kind of yellows and pinks and greens and taupes. And I should mention that the name of the game here is to have some contrast, because the slipped stitch patterning shows the interplay of the colors well. So I tried to pick a bunch of different colors. So these are the first two that I picked. And then the third, this is from the Mega Sal, which we did a while ago. It was organized by Southern Cross Fiber, but involved a variety of other dyers, and it was colorways inspired by the Terry Pratchett Discworld series. And this was called, I cannot remember. I'm not a good fan. I've read a couple of the books, but not a ton of them. And it was a skein by Spunky Eclectic, and it was meant to be sort of rainbowy. It's like prisms, but I can't remember what the name for it is. All of these will be linked in the show notes, but this has purples and kind of a neon yellow and some pink and some greens, and so that's 3. And then the 4th skein is a skein called Block Party, and this was from my 2F by Hand stash. I'm so sad those ladies aren't dying anymore because they did beautiful fibers. But this is pinks and purples and blues. It's definitely a darker skein. So now we're up to 4. And then 5, this was an Into the World skein, and it was for Crazy, Twisted, and Arbitrary. It was for one of their spin-alongs, and it was inspired by Kate Beckinsale in the I'm gonna blank on the movie name. She's a lichen. I know you're all gonna be looking at me like, how could you forget Underworld? Thank you. This one is called Celine, and it was inspired by a picture of her that had blues with red. And so these are my 5 skeins. And for the 6th, I picked something with some fall colors, and this is called Widdershins. It is Shetland, and it was from Hello Yarn. I spun it ages and ages and ages ago, and it is just lovely fall colors. It is yellows and oranges and russets and a little bit of pink, and so that is the 6th skein. That was my old tag, but that's the 6th skein. So there we go. Now we have 5 and 6. And so that is what I am going to start this month. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it this month, but I don't care because I just want to knit this. So first priority will be getting those socks done on my trip. And then I have not decided what I'm going to take with me. I will probably take either Elfie or I might take my boxy just because I don't want to take anything too complicated because I will be busy seeing my family this weekend, so I don't want to take anything that will require too much concentration or looking at directions. So that is what I plan to cast on in May. I know, it looks like a lot of crazy plans. So I should also mention, for those of you who are interested in participating, that the Knit Girls are hosting Stash Dash again this year. I have no idea if I'm going to make it this year. I know I very narrowly missed, well, okay. For a while, the top one was 10,000 meters. And I know 2 summers ago, I very narrowly missed that. Last summer, I don't even think I came close to that. I think last summer, my goal was 7,000 meters. But now they've added even more crazy heights. Last year, I know there was a 15,000 meters, and there might actually be a 20,000 meters. And I cannot craft that much. However, I'm starting all of these projects in May, and I don't usually play the game. There are a lot of podcasters who like to play Stash Dash and get lots and lots of yardage by, okay, so let me start again. Stash Dash is a good reason to use up your stash. It is hosted by Leslie and Laura of the Knit Girls each summer, and basically Laura is a school librarian, and so she runs it between whenever she gets out of school to basically whenever she goes back to school. So this year that is May 24th to August 24th. The goal is to use up or spin up or craft with as much of your stash as you possibly can. Knitting and crocheting wise, it's based on meterage used, and for spinning it's based on meterage spun. And what I can't remember is whether they have adapted to include Spinzilla rules. Spinzilla rules basically let you count the yardage of your spun singles and the yardage of your plied yarn if what you are doing is a plied yarn. So for instance, if you are spinning a skein of 2-ply yarn, you get your yardage for spinning the singles and your yardage for the 2-ply yarn. So if I spin 300 yards of 2-ply yarn, I also get the 600 yards in singles that it took me to get there. So I would actually get 900 yards in credit for that. So I know that's a little complicated. I can't remember. I think that's the way they're doing it now, but I can't remember. I've never counted it that way. I just count like how much finished yardage I get per skein, and then also how much yardage I knit, and then I do the conversions to the metric, and then I'm done. So the way a lot of people play Stash Dash is if they have a lot of big projects that are very close to finishing, they wait to finish them while they are in Stash Dash, because if you finish a project during Stash Dash, particularly a whip you have had lying around forever, the entire yardage of the project counts. So if I have a sweater left that I only have to do a button band on, or I only have to do one more sleeve, I can count the entire yardage of the sweater as a finish. In general, I've never really played that way, mostly because for me, I am a product knitter, and so I really like to finish things and get them done and get them usable and out in the world. And so generally, I don't hold my finishes for Stash Dash. That said, I'm casting on a whole bunch of things this month, and I'm sure I will not finish them all, so I'm sure some of them will lap over into Stash Dash, and those that do, I will gladly count their yardage in Stash Dash. So, like I said, although it's not my purpose, I actually probably will have some things in there. So, no real spinning to speak of this week. I did start that red braid that I showed you last week, which was Sangren Griffin Bugga fiber. I am working on that. I've spun maybe an ounce of that, so it will be slow, and I will be away from my wheel for a chunk of this week when I go up to Chicago. So I will not probably have anything to show you for the next podcast either. However, I hope to have a bunch of starts. Excuse me. Tea. I hope to have, got myself good there. Podcaster chokes on her own spit. Where was I? I hope to have lots of starts to show you. I hope you have a lovely weekend. I will be back from Chicago sometime on Monday, so I plan to record the podcast on Monday night and get that out to you. And I will say, as I always do, until I see you again, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.